Gone are the days when farming was only known for rural-urban farmers. But here in Kyanja Agricultural Resource Center, KCCA demonstration farm, here they have everything. And it is very possible for city dwellers to also have such a thing, cost saving. They have everything like you're going to be seeing. We have Kato Godfrey, who is an agriculture officer, who is going to be taking us through vegetable growing, who is going to be taking us through how you can do that without a cost or with just simple cost at your home, in your space, in that small space. People just know that farming is only done in Mubende, in Tisoro, where I come from. But trust me, you can also have that small farm where you're earning a lot of money, and you're fetching a lot of money without even a cost, or with cost saving, and again when you're paying rent with that small farm. Welcome with me Kato Godfrey, who is going to be taking us through what you can do in that small space. You are welcome, Mr. Kato.
Thank you.
Really, it is really a blessing for me to come here. I was there at the mat, I'm like, watching Ende, you're watching Ende, you're my God, I wonder. Yes. You're very welcome.
Thank you. It is good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kato Godfrey. I'm one officer, Agriculture Center. It is a demonstration farm for KCCA, and we train farmers in the city. Even the city dwellers, they can come in this place, and get knowledge on different agricultural enterprises. Here we train farmers how to utilize smaller spaces in the city, and mostly we are focusing the urban farmers, and we have different technologies at Kyanja Agricultural Resource Center. We deal in different enterprises. For example, horticulture. Horticulture is where we have the vegetables, herbs and spices, fruits, flowers, all those we help farmers how to start. And then also we have poultry in this place. We have piggery, organic piggery farming, where people can do piggery in smaller spaces without smelling. You know, farmers, they thought pigs are dirty animals.
Me too, even I cannot, my mind, like the mind I have, I cannot be with a neighbor who is wearing pigs. Why would I? Because it is really...
Yeah. But here at Kyanja, we train farmers how to do organic piggery farming without smell. And that technology is called indigenous microorganisms. We train them how to do piggery in smaller spaces. Then also we have aquaculture, that is fish farming. People thought you cannot do fish in the city, but it is possible. You can actually do fish farming in the city. Here we train farmers how to do fish in smaller spaces, using tanks, using ponds. We train them how to set up fish ponds in smaller spaces. Then also we have vermiculture is an enterprise where we recycle wastes from the city to get organic manure and organic fertilizers. Then also we have vermiculture is where we recycle wastes from the market, Kampala markets, for example, Karere, Wandegeya. They deliver those wastes here at the center. We recycle them. We get organic manure and organic fertilizers, but we use earthworms to recycle those wastes. The earthworm is called the red wiggler earthworm. It is a specific type of earthworm which multiplies so fast and break down the cassasro we have. At your farm, in your compound, you can actually use those earthworms and get organic manure and organic fertilizers. Then we have another project. It is called hydroponics. Hydroponics, we are growing feeds for animals using barley seeds, using maize, using sorghum. It grow in a period of 7 days and feed to your animals. Those are technologies which can be done in smaller spaces to help people in the city. Because of the increasing population, we are running out of space. But you can actually be able to practice to implement those technologies we have at the center, for example, hydroponics, and grow feeds for your animals. Then we have a new project which is going to start soon. It is called zero grazing. we want to train farmers dairy farming. How can you have animals, cows in smaller spaces? And we are going to start training farmers zero grazing, and our focus is on dairy cows. You know, someone can have dairy cows and you can have milk every day. You know, you can earn income from milk on daily basis. Then our focus today, we are going to focus on horticulture, that is vegetable growing, herbs and spices, and aquaponics. Aquaponics, I said before, it is fish farming, and our focus today is going to be on the horticulture and the fish farming.
Yeah, so let's begin with the horticulture. What kind of vegetables, spices that you grow here on KCCA demonstration farm?
Okay, for the vegetables, we are looking at high value crops. For example, sweet peppers, which can be planted in the greenhouse, and it gives good returns.
Sweet pepper?
Yes. So someone can grow sweet pepper in the greenhouse.
Hey.
It is planted in the greenhouse, and right now it is on high demand. So you find that a farmer can set up a greenhouse, can install a greenhouse, greenhouse projects. And if you set up a greenhouse, you can grow sweet peppers, which give you high returns. And I'll give an example of a greenhouse of 8 by 15 meters. You can have around 500 plants of sweet peppers in your greenhouse in a very small space. And if you grow sweet pepper, it takes a period of 3 months and you start harvesting. When you start harvesting, a greenhouse of 8 by 15 meters, you'll get 50 kilograms of sweet peppers per week. And a kilo of sweet pepper goes, it is when the supply is high, you find that a kilo can go for 5,000 to 10,000. Right now a kilo is at 7,000 shillings. So you find that if you, let's say you're selling at 10,000 per kilogram, you have an income of 500,000 every week, and you're going to harvest sweet pepper for a period of 6 to 8 months. When you harvest, that is almost a year.
Where do I buy the seedlings?
The seedlings, we actually, at the center, we have propagation units. We raise seedlings for farmers. We are going to look at the seedling propagation unit. We help farmers to raise seedlings in the nursery, so they come and buy them from here at a low cost. So when you buy your seedlings from this place, there are superior varieties of vegetable seedlings. You go and plant it in your greenhouse or open field, and you get high yield. Then also we have we train farmers to do exotic vegetables. For example, broccoli, kale, spinach. Those are exotic vegetables, and they are very good vegetables. They have a lot of nutrients necessary for human health.
Yeah, Mr. George, before we go there, so you're going to, because you talked about the greenhouse. So can, like me, maybe I'm renting like a small place, maybe in Chisasi or maybe in Kyanja, and I would also want to, interested in sweet pepper. How can I set up a greenhouse? What are the essentials? What do I have to know before I'm setting up a greenhouse? And is it easy?
Okay. Yeah, it is very easy to set up a greenhouse project because what you need is space. You need space. You need water. You must have a water source before you set up a greenhouse. Actually, there's very many spaces in the city which are not in use. If someone can rent a space, and you can actually set up a greenhouse if you rent a space, and then you can grow crops. Before the owner realizes to construct a house in that space, for you already getting money out of that space when you set up a greenhouse. So it is very easy. You need space, you need water, you must have a water source at the site, and also the site should be leveled. It needs a leveled space, and then you can install a greenhouse.
What's the input?
The input, you need the cost for installation. We have companies, different companies installing greenhouses in Uganda. We have Bolton, we have Holland Green Tech, we have Agromax, we have Green Tech, those are Kenyanese. We have different companies. And depending on the size of the greenhouse, for example, a greenhouse of 8 by 15 meters, it will cost you around 12 million.
12 million.
Yes, the fabricated greenhouse, it will cost you around 6 million. So it depends on the ability of the farmer. Yes, so for the starters, you can start with a greenhouse of 6 million. That is a fabricated greenhouse made out of cheap materials. They are locally available in the country. Someone can buy them from greenhouse companies and you can actually install your greenhouse. Yes.
What if I don't have a greenhouse and I have tents?
Okay.
And I don't have the 6 million. I said I'm renting a house of 250,000.
Okay, I've talked about one enterprise. That is greenhouse project, which we demonstrate here at the center, at the Kyanja Agricultural Resource Center. But also we have different technologies. We have the open field gardens, we have the backyard gardens, different gardens you can set up in your space. You don't need, if you're not able to set up a greenhouse, you can do open field. We have farmers growing vegetables open field. We have superior varieties for open field. I'll give an example of tomatoes. There are superior varieties of tomatoes you can do in the open without a greenhouse. So I'll give an example of Anso variety of tomatoes. There is Novel, there is Safa. There are very many varieties of tomatoes you can grow in the open field and you get high yield. It depends on the space, and I will talk about this, that vegetables is something you can do in a small space and you get high returns because they take a short time and you don't need a lot of space to do vegetable projects. You need a small space. For example, for tomatoes, you don't need a lot of space. You can actually grow even tomatoes in your compound and you sell. There are times when tomatoes are at high demand. It is actually good for farmers to target the scarcity. Don't grow crops anytime. You can actually grow tomatoes and target the scarcity. I'll give an example. If you plant tomatoes in December, you'll actually sell your tomatoes when the prices are high. Because during December, there are little rains. We don't receive a lot of rain during those months. So you can actually grow tomatoes in December, in January. And when you grow tomatoes during that time, you'll sell them when there is high demand and you'll get good returns from vegetable projects.
Right there. Right there. Let's go in for a short commercial break, but we are coming back. You're still watching Family Farm with the Farm Girl on propagation and the seedling and the procedure of growth. It's where we are coming. Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching Family Farm with the Farm Girl every Monday from 11 a.m. We are here with you on Family Farm. But today we are here in Kyanja, the Agriculture Resource Center, and we are talking about how to use or how to utilize that small space in the city. They are basically on urban farming. So welcome with me once more, if you've just joined us, Mr. Kato George, who is an agriculture officer. Ngeri jendi omulimi n'oluzungu lubuze.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're still taking us through the procedure. I give an example of rosemary. I want to grow rosemary. What are the procedures? Or is it the same as growing the lemon balm?
Okay. We are going to talk about the procedures of preparing your garden before planting. And at the center here, we know very well our people in the city, they don't have big spaces. But when you look at where we are standing, we have box gardens, we have container gardens where you can grow your herbs and spices. I'll first talk about how you mix soil for the containers and the box gardens before I talk about the open field, because they're not the same. The mixture of soil here, you need good soil, black soil, because remember, you're planting your crop in the containers. So you get very good soil, black soil, fertile soil, mix it with the organic manure from animal droppings in a ratio of 3 parts of black soil. Let's say wheelbarrows of soil should be 3 of black soil, then 1 part of manure, then 1 part of sand if you have some sand. you can mix in some sand, 1 part. Then 1 part of charcoal dust, if you can get it. It is important to mix in charcoal dust because
Charcoal dust, what is charcoal dust? Sand is omusenyu.
Yes.
Charcoal dust ogundi olusenyente.
Charcoal dust is olusenyente. So you need 1 part. There are advantages of mixing those sand and the charcoal dust. For example, sand improves on the drainage of water. If you're watering your crops in the containers, if you don't mix your soil well, the water will not drain well. That's why we add sand to improve on the drainage. Then charcoal dust has a lot of minerals, also it helps to maintain moisture in the soil and also to add minerals in the soil. It is also important to add ash. If you get ash, evu. Yes. No. Lirina omugaso mulala. Ash ayambako alina a lot of minerals. I'll give an example. It has a lot of potassium, which is necessary for plants. So it is also important to add ash. You can add ash in your soil. That's how we mix soil if you're going to plant your crops in containers. Then if when we go to the open field.
Before we go to the open field, you talked about droppings. Does every dropping work, like for pigs, like for rabbits, like for goats, every dropping, or even cows?
Okay, that is a very good question. We need actually to know there are differences, nutrient composition in the different animal droppings. I'll give an example of poultry and cow dung. Cow dung from cows, it has a certain percentage of nutrients contained in the cow dung. Then poultry, it has also a different nutrient composition, but they all work. So if you get, let's say, cow dung, you can apply in your garden. We need well decomposed animal droppings. Cow dung, chicken manure, rabbit manure, goat manure. Again, when we talk about goat and rabbit manure, it also has a different nutrient composition. I'll talk about the goat manure. It has a lot of fibers than the poultry manure. So goat is also very good because it has a lot of fibers, and when you apply goat manure in your soil, doesn't make the soil to cake because of the fibers contained in the goat manure. So, but it is important to use all the animal droppings because they have nutrients necessary for the plants.
So for how long do they have to decompose?
It can take like 2 months, 1 to 2 months to be fully decomposed before you apply in your garden.
Won't they smell for maybe I'm a landlord? Won't they smell for my tenants? Won't they smell for my neighbors? How do I prepare them so that they don't smell?
Okay. It is good. Most of our people, they don't have a big space. Yeah. But at the center here, we train farmers how to formulate, how to come up with organic manure from animal droppings, using even plastic containers. Can I talk about the procedures of that?
You talk about the procedures to our people there. They would like to know.
Okay. For example, if you're going to use cow dung, you can get cow dung, you get coffee hussks, you get some black soil, you get some molasses, yeah. You mix those materials together, you heap it somewhere, you leave it for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, it will be fully decomposed. What are molasses? Molasses, how do we call it in Uganda? Akalodo, yes. Yes, it is akalodo. Yes, molasses is good. So you can mix together with those materials and then you can formulate your organic manure to use in your garden. But also you can dig, if you have a space around your home, you can get a pit where you pile your animal droppings. You leave it for 2 months to decompose and then apply in your garden. Also, you can get liquid manure from animal droppings. For example, cow dung. You can get it, heap it in a 100 kilogram bag, the Kadeya. Get a container, plastic container, fill it with water, hang it on a stick, leave it to float in water. All the nutrients in the cow dung will end up in the water. And then you use around the manure, you use the water. You use the water. So you mix it with the water, you dilute it. 1 liter of the cow dung, add 1 liter of water, and water around your crops. It is also important. All the nutrients will end up in the water, and you use it in your garden. Yes.
So we are done with preparing the manure and the soil. So what is the next step?
Open field.
Open field.
Yes.
What is the open field?
Open field is where you grow crops in the open space. You don't need a greenhouse. You just need to prepare your garden. There are very many spaces in the city which are not in use. Someone can rent a space and grow vegetables. We are promoting vegetables because in the city, because I said vegetables require smaller space. And
Now they don't take a lot of time.
They don't take a lot of time to grow. They take a short time. So let's say if someone is going to construct a house in his plot in 2 years, when you engage in vegetable projects, you'll grow vegetables for different times, because vegetables don't have seasons. You can grow anytime. What you need is water. So open field is what you need is space, and you can grow different vegetables. When we look at the markets we have in Kampala, I would say that Kampala is the agribusiness center of Uganda. All food comes from the village to Kampala. That's where we have market. So people with spaces in the city, they can use the spaces they have. They grow the vegetables, which they can sell in the markets of Kampala. I'll give an example of Nakasero. They need a lot of vegetables which comes from rural areas, and yet we can use the small spaces we have in the city and we grow vegetables. I'll give an example of broccoli, kale, lettuces. Those are exotic vegetables and they are highly demanded in the markets, and there are few farmers. Remember, the farmers in the rural areas, they don't know some of these crops. For example, the lettuces, the broccoli, and the kale. The lemon balm, they don't know. It's only they don't know even the
use of lemon balm, by the way. Collins would like to know.
Okay. Lemon balm is a spice for spicing tea and juice, and it is good. It is by the medicinal plant.
What kind of diseases does this treat?
If let's say you're feeling stomach pain, you can use lemon balm. You put it on hot water and drink. Yes, it cures stomach pain.
I can eat it like this.
It is good to put it on hot water.
I first put it on hot water.
Yes, and drink. Yes, it is a very good spice, and they have different medicinal values. So how people can use them, they need to have them at home. So I was talking about the vegetable open field. When we go back to mixing soil, you also need to apply manure in your garden. Our farmers, they need to know that soil can get exhausted. So you need to feed it. You need to.
What if I have like these baskets?
Yes.
Yes, those are the baskets that I have at home.
That one I've talked about the mixture of soil.
You just get the soil and then just pour in.
You will mix with manure, with charcoal dust, with sand, and some ash. If you get ash, it is important to add. Then open field, you apply manure or fertilizers. They are fertilizers. So, but it's good to use animal droppings because they have more advantages than the inorganic fertilizers, like the NPK. If you use the cow dung, goat manure, they improve soil fertility.
The goat manure.
The goat manure and all animal droppings, they improve, even human. Yes.
I'm just imagining using human.
Yes. They have started treating it.
Really?
Yes, and it has a lot of nutrients. And in other countries, they are even buying from farmers. I mean, from people.
So it does not even have any smell, like.
They treat it, and it doesn't have any smell. So all animal droppings, they work as the organic manure, even human waste. So you can treat it and use it. But there are people who treat human waste.
Yeah, they don't treat it.
In Kyanja, we don't use it. We have not started treating it. It is in Kampala, it's the sewage corporation, where they treat that waste from human and they sell it as organic manure.
Just imagining.
Here we are training farmers how to recycle waste from Kasaslo and also from animal droppings. So you can use animal droppings and apply in your garden. It will improve soil fertility, it will add nutrients in your soil, and it will boost the plant growth.
So before you have that open garden, you have to improve like the soil manure, apply manure before you plant in anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
What's the use?
The use of
Oh yeah, like putting in my garden, maybe like you said, maybe when I've put in, maybe in the basket I put in manure, everything it will boost. But so I have maybe my small garden is there. Do I have to also go through that of mixing the manure and everything?
If you have a smaller garden, you can apply just manure alone.
Only manure.
Yes, for the sand, the charcoal dust, that's when you're going to plant in the containers. Yes, so remember you're putting soil in a container and it doesn't have all the nutrient composition. But here when you have it in the open field, that soil where you're applying manure, it has other nutrients, but you need to add more nutrients. But also the other thing, if you're going to go large scale, even small scale, it is important to do soil testing. To test the soil, to know the nutrients are available in your garden before you plant. It is so important.
Thank you so much. Of course, if you want to know, just stay tuned on Church of Uganda Family TV because we enrich your life in every sector. Now we are here on agriculture, on Kyanja Agriculture Resource Center, and you've heard it for yourself as a farmer. If you want to engage yourself in horticulture, just come here because they have trainings in every sector. What do you want? Just come here and ask. They have told you the days that you have to be here. That is Thursday and Wednesday and Saturday. Just come here and you will know everything in lengthy. Thank you so much. It was a family farm with a farm girl every Monday from 11 a.m. to 11:30. Peace.